I guess we're the 4 biggest MMO nerds in the office right now.
Now that some dear friends have departed the workspace, I would say that's probably true. But I think we've all played a diverse number of them. But I think the bigger question is, are we actively playing any of them right now?
I'm semi-actively playing EVE Online.
You are?
Wow.
Yeah, but
That's awesome.
Are you embezzling money?
Not yet. I hope to. I hope
Okay.
to one day. It's really tough to stick with it because it's on paper it should be a great game. I mean, emergent gameplay, players gathering resources to build ships and stuff like that. It's all a player-based economy. I should love it. The problem is that it's really tough to get into.
You read about all these stories about EVE Online or at these massive, massive space battles, and you're like, wow, that sounds like the greatest, most complex thing ever. But getting to that point seems like once you're actually in it and once you're actually playing the game, it seems almost impossible. But that's kind of cool, right? That you have to work towards something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to work really, really hard at it, but it sounds so much, I hate to say this, it sounds better than it is.
Yeah.
Like the massive space battles, time dilation. And so it's like watching a really slow, real-time strategy game, or like a real-time strategy game on a really, really lousy computer, where everything's just moving at a single frame rate at a time and stuff like that.
I think that's the legacy of Warcraft, is that like you look at the old games like Final Fantasy XI or EverQuest, and these games were punishing. You know, if you died, you lost experience. The early versions of WoW, I think in the beta that even happened, but then it was just like durability on your stuff. And WoW's always been about giving you stuff, empowering you.
Right.
And
Well, I
I
mean,
think that's kind of been the trend for most of the games. I think the really good example was the SOE version of Star Wars, not the Old Republic, but Galaxies, where it was like one person became, Force sensitive originally.
Jedi Knight, yeah.
Yeah, one person in the entire million population was given just the tiniest chance to become a Jedi.
Yeah.
And then the Old Republic comes out and it's like, we have 40 million Jedis with full voice acting.
I remember playing WoW when, your mount wasn't till 40, I
Yeah.
think it was.
Yep.
Your mount was until 40 and it was going to cost you 5 gold and you couldn't find gold even once you got to level 40 because it was so expensive or something crazy like
Yeah, it
that.
was 100 gold. And I
100
remember
gold.
when I hit level 40 and I had to sell off everything else. I had to sell off all my cloth and all
Yeah.
that stuff. No, I did. I
No,
had all
I
this
mean,
cloth
silk
that-
and
that
yeah.
I-
That lucrative tailoring
Yeah,
skill, I
yeah.
know. I know
Tailoring was
about
the
it.
only way you made money.
Exactly.
cloth.
Yeah, I was making bags and selling them on. I had to make a bunch of bags and sell them
On
on
the
the
auction.
auction. So I finally got my 100 gold, and I bought a horse, and I just rode the horse all
Right.
around like it was a motorcycle.
And then it's
Now
like
there's
what,
actually a
level
motorcycle.
20
Now
and
it's-
like
they are,
it's
right?
easy and
Yeah.
you get gold in the training it's just
You played a ton of City of Heroes.
Yeah.
And that didn't really have an economy. Okay, and you're wearing some special shirt.
dauntless. Sorry, I have a guild that I've been a
that
part
one
of
was
for
actually
years.
that one was actually that was a contemporary of World of Warcraft. I mean, World of Warcraft's the 800-pound gorilla.
Right.
But it did a lot of things much differently. It had the character customization. It
Yeah.
didn't really have a normal economy. Like you had to combine little weird drops to
Well,
get stuff.
No, you still had economy because you could spend it on costumes, better outfits.
Right.
I mean, character customization was really like the big element that was the main draw for a lot of people for City of Heroes because really no two heroes were alike. And I still have yet to see an MMO since that has that kind of creative freedom because you're always starting out as the same cast with the same loincloth and the same this, where it's like, I have friends where we would spend 2 hours in the initial character creation screen just designing and then like trying to figure out a character name or having a character name and having to design the hero that went with it. And
Would you still be playing City of Heroes right now, do
Absolutely.
you think? Or would you still have an account? There's a difference.
I would still have an account. My account never went away, and I logged in for the last week before it was shut down, like most of my guildmates. And the thing is, and this is one of the reasons this whole conversation decided to get brought up is I feel like I've kind of outgrown MMOs and the concept of the gameplay of it, whereas like the only reason I was playing City of Heroes as much as I was because of my guild and like the people I was meeting and hanging out with that are, because MMOs in that time were kind of like the big multiplayer that you did do. You either had Halo on your consoles or your Call of Duties or you had your MMOs. There wasn't really that ability to have a community in between. There wasn't the League of Legends of the time. It was
Or the Minecraft servers.
or the Minecrafts or the DayZs or the so it's just sort of like,
Is that the Doctor Who making you say Zeds or something?
when I say Daisy, it makes me think of the flower, which is so
Okay.
not, so I have to say DayZ.
you talk about outgrowing MMOs, and I really think that's interesting. And I have to ask, something that's made me less interested in MMOs over time, even though I think Final Fantasy XIV is really well done, is the ones that have sizable communities are really descendants of WoW. And I don't mean that in a complimentary sense, right? Like, it was so domineering over MMO design that having spent like thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in WoW, it's just increasingly diminishing returns. And the games that are significantly different from WoW don't have sizable enough populations to remain interesting over a period of time. Like, is this just what we're cursed to have, forever? Now, is it just going to be like slightly different variations on WoW, or are we actually going to see something new and exciting?
I think the Minecraft and the DayZ, those harken back to Ultima Online, which I don't think anyone here did you play it?
I played it, but I had no idea what I was doing.
And I'm talking about the original, where it was like complete persistence, which is what you get kind of in a Minecraft server when you can go over and destroy someone's house. And to a degree, I think DayZ has a lot of that as well. But again, those are more twitchy action games, but maybe that's what we need as well. I think, you were mentioning like multiplayer games right now, and I think there was this idea of going really, really big for a long time. And like right around the corner, like Titanfall, is only going to be 6-on-6, and I think we're probably getting to a point now where we've lived in this this macro for so long that maybe things are going to be brought in and be a little more local, a little more manageable, and have those more intimate things. And I think that could go even with MMOs.
What, towards the line of like Guild Wars?
Well, Guild Wars is a really particular little guy. It's so good, and it's so, I want to use the word non-addictive. I was able to walk away from that game so much more easily. Like, I was playing Secret World, which would have been a much better as a single-player game, just from like a play experience, but it was still addictive.
Secret World had that balance of like getting your party and then going into an instance.
Even though it was kind of crappy, it was like, I'm going to do it again, I'm going to do it again, I'm going to do it again. Well, Guild Wars is like, I'm going to go have fun over here, I'm going to have fun over here, I can walk away. And I don't know if we talked about this, like, I don't know if it's the loot, because Secret World didn't really have loot either.
Something that Guild Wars 2 prides itself on is it does away with the holy trinity, right? You have your tank, your DPS, and your healer. And any character is a lot more versatile, right? So you're not getting into those situations as often where it's like looking for tank. But as much as I kind of want to get away from those roles, I really think there's something to them, and I'm going to use Mike Damiani as my anecdote here.
Well, I get a chart.
Yeah, the internet in our apartment goes out every night, at least once. And normally, Mike doesn't care. He'll just leave his room and come and reset the router, and he might groan a little bit. When he's raiding in Final Fantasy XIV, he will like scream and curse and slam doors. And the reason why
what's he do to the cats?
Nothing. The cats just get scared. The reason why I'm using him as an example is because he feels like he's letting his team down. Like he's doing something that only they can get. So, do you think like that's the appeal of an MMO? Is you sort of get into this role where you feel like my team needs me, only I can do this sort of thing. Does that make sense?
It totally is. No, here's the thing. Okay, I got a story time.
More stories.
Okay, stories. So I'm playing WoW, Burning Crusade, Underbog, 5-man with my guild. Okay. We were going through, everything was going fine. Took a break for some reason. Okay. We get up to one of the bosses, and we're just about to pull the boss. Okay. My wife walks in the room, and she says, "Rob, we got to talk." And I said, "Can't talk right now. I'm in the middle of something." She said, "Rob, pause the game." I explained to her before. She knows game has no pause. So she says, "Rob, I need to talk to you right now." I look over at her. She's holding a pregnancy test.
Oh, God.
And then in my
Who's
headset,
the father?
I hear...
congratulations.
I hear pulling. Now, I'm the healer. They need me.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I have to decide, okay, my wife with some fairly important news.
Right.
Or my guildmates.
You're a holy priest?
Yes.
Okay.
Important.
Because I was going to say, if you were like a resto druid, they probably weren't going to survive anyway.
Yeah, if it's like a shaman, I just throw down my totems and walk away.
Click follow and
So what did you choose?
Will Rob choose his wife over the guild? Will Ben realize that his long-lost twin brother is actually his sister? Will Megan fall off the ball? And will Ryan discover a cure before the next full moon? Find out next week on all MMO children.